Ladies and gentlemen, pause for a moment and think if I were to place before you a treasure chest filled with gold, silver, and diamonds, would you not guard it with your very life? Yet, each of us has been entrusted with treasures far more valuable than all the riches of the earth combined, treasures that cannot be purchased, bargained for, or bought back once lost. They slip through our hands quietly, often unnoticed, until the moment we realize they are gone. These treasures are time, health, and peace of mind. Time is the silent partner of our existence. It moves steadily, never rushing, never stalling. The richest man on earth cannot buy back yesterday, and the poorest man alive receives tomorrow with the same measure as a king. Time is the great equalizer, and yet it is squandered as if it were infinite. Every hour wasted is a fortune thrown away. Every moment well spent is an investment that yields dividends greater than money could ever provide. Health is the second treasure. We often neglect it until it falters. A man may build empires, travel the world, dine at the finest tables. But without health, all the pleasures of life become burdens. Wealth may purchase medicine, but it cannot restore the vigor of youth, the strength of the body, or the resilience of the spirit once they have faded. The wise man treasures his body as the instrument through which he achieves his destiny, and he guards it with the same care he would guard the rarest gem. And then there is peace of mind, the most elusive treasure of them all. You cannot buy it at the marketplace. No currency can secure it. Peace of mind is earned by the way we live, by the thoughts we nurture, and by the integrity of our actions. Without it, wealth becomes chains, success turns bitter, and life itself feels hollow. With it, even the simplest of lives shines with richness. Think carefully, then, how you treat these three treasures. For while you may earn back money after it is lost, and you may rebuild a house once it has fallen, you cannot recover lost years, you cannot buy back squandered health, and you cannot purchase serenity once it is traded away. So guard your time as the rarest currency. Guard your health as the most precious possession. Guard your peace of mind as the very foundation of your happiness. For in the end, it is not what we have that matters, but what we keep safe within ourselves. Would you like me to refine this further into a shorter, performance-ready script around 3 to 4 minutes, designed to hold attention if read aloud on stage or in a YouTube video? You said, write a speech on title. Okay, we will go for 3 Priceless Things You Can't Buy Back Time. Health and Peace, Earl Nightingale. Provide me 6 section related to the speech. INTRODUCTOR part of F speech most TBET most TNGING part of TE SPEECH and must be in Stella. Earl Nightingale. Don't add headings or conclusion. ChatGPT said. Imagine, if you will, standing in a marketplace where every desire is for sale. Gold, diamonds, mansions, and kingdoms. All within reach if only you had the means. And yet, in this grand bazaar of life, there are 3 treasures no man can ever purchase, no matter his wealth or power. These treasures are not found in vaults, nor on trading floors, nor in the pockets of the mighty. They are the quiet gifts given equally to all: time, health, and peace of mind. Lose them, and no sum of money will ever bring them back. Time is the first. Each of us receives it in daily installments, like coins slipping silently into our hands. But here is the tragedy: what is not spent wisely is lost forever. You cannot hoard it, you cannot rewind it, and you cannot bargain with it. The clock ticks relentlessly forward, indifferent to our excuses, unmoved by our regrets. Time is life itself, and yet it is treated as if it were cheap. The successful man is not he who has more hours in his day, but he who honors every hour he is given. Health is the second treasure. A man may command armies, write his name in history, or amass untold wealth, but without health he is a prisoner in his own body. We take it for granted in our youth, as if strength and vitality were eternal. But no fortune can restore a heart once it breaks, or lungs once they fail, or vigor once it has been squandered. The wise understand that health is the servant of all ambition, the foundation on which every dream must stand. And then, there is peace of mind, the crown jewel of existence. Unlike time and health, it is not given freely, it must be earned. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or stolen. Peace of mind comes from living in harmony with one's principles, from honesty, from gratitude, from the absence of fear and guilt. Without it, the mansion feels like a prison, success feels like failure, and wealth feels like poverty. With it, even the humblest life glows with abundance. Consider what happens when these treasures are lost. Time wasted becomes regret that gnaws at the heart. Health neglected becomes pain that no wealth can soothe. Peace of mind abandoned becomes turmoil that no achievement can quiet. The cost of carelessness with these treasures is far greater than the price of protecting them. So we are faced with a choice, every day, every hour, every moment, to spend time with purpose or to waste it, to nurture health with discipline or to surrender it to neglect, to build peace of mind with integrity or to gamble it away for fleeting gain. The decision rests with us, and once the choice is made, there is no undoing it. Guard these treasures as though your very life depends on them, for indeed it does. Time, health, and peace of mind, the three things you cannot buy back. The three things that define the quality of your life, and the three things that, once lost, can never be returned. Picture this for a moment: the sound of a clock, steady, relentless, each tick carrying away a fragment of your life. You cannot stop it, you cannot slow it, you cannot rewind it. It marches on, day and night, whether you sleep or work, whether you are mindful of its presence or blind to its passing. Time is the only possession that is equally granted to all of us. The billionaire and the beggar awaken to the same 24 hours. The genius and the fool, the old and the young, the king and the common man, each receives this gift in precisely the same measure. And yet, how differently it is spent. Some treat their hours as if they were endless, tossing them away in careless habits, frittering them on trivialities that bring no value, no progress, no joy. Others guard their minutes as treasures, investing them into pursuits that build, enrich, and expand the scope of their lives. The great divide between failure and success, between fulfillment and regret, lies in how a man spends his time. And here is the truth that many overlook: every second you live is a second that dies the moment it is born. You can never call it back. It is gone forever, sealed in the past, and no amount of wealth, power, or pleading will restore it. It is a curious thing how human beings behave toward this most precious possession. With money, even the smallest coin is guarded carefully. We haggle over prices, we protect our wallets, we work hard to earn and preserve our wealth. Yet with time, something infinitely more valuable, we act as if we have an inexhaustible supply. Hours are squandered on idle chatter, empty entertainment, or worry over things that never come to pass. And then, one day, we look back and realize the years have vanished like smoke in the wind. The young man believes he has an eternity ahead of him. He spends his days as if they were endless, always postponing his real ambitions for some later tomorrow. But tomorrow has a strange habit of becoming today, and today quietly slips into yesterday. Youth fades, opportunities vanish, and the careless discovery is made: the future is not an unlimited reservoir of time, but a steadily shrinking measure. By the time this realization arrives, too often the best years have already been spent. Consider how different life becomes when one begins to see time for what it truly is: a currency. A currency far more valuable than gold. Unlike money, which can be regained after loss, time can never be replenished. You can always rebuild a fortune after financial ruin, but you cannot rebuild a single day once it has passed. This is why the wisest among us do not ask, "How much have I earned today?" but instead, "How have I spent my hours? What return have I received from the investment of this day of my life?" For every day, whether we realize it or not, we are making an investment. We are trading our time for something else, for growth or decay, for strength or weakness, for joy or emptiness. Think of time as a seed. Each hour holds the potential to be planted, nurtured, and multiplied. If you plant it in learning, you harvest wisdom. If you plant it in meaningful work, you harvest achievement. If you plant it in relationships of love and trust, you harvest connection and joy. But if you leave the seed unplanted, if you let it lie neglected in the dust, it brings nothing but emptiness. The field of your life will be barren, not because time was denied to you, but because it was ignored, wasted, and allowed to rot unused. There is, in truth, no such thing as killing time. When we say we are killing time, what we are truly killing is a portion of our own lives. For time and life are not separate things, they are one and the same. To waste an hour is to diminish the very essence of your existence. To use an hour with purpose is to enrich it. That is why the most successful and fulfilled people appear to live more fully, within the same 24 hours given to all. They have learned the art of honoring time, of bending each moment toward growth, toward contribution, toward meaning. Every morning, a silent transaction takes place. Life deposits into your hands a fresh account of 24 hours. The question is not whether you will spend it. You must. The question is only how you will spend it, and whether the return on your investment will be regret or fulfillment. Those who drift, those who spend their hours on the trivial, wake to discover their account has run dry, and nothing remains but longing for what might have been. Those who live with intention, who guard their minutes as though they were rare jewels, finish their days with the quiet satisfaction that they have invested well. And so, the challenge before each of us is not merely to exist within time, but to master it. To rise each morning with the resolve to treat every hour as sacred, to ask ourselves whether the way we spend today will bring pride or regret tomorrow. For time waits for no man. It marches on, impartial and unyielding. The only power we hold is in how we choose to use it, right here, in this fleeting moment. There is a possession so intimate, so constant, and yet so easily neglected, that its value is often only discovered when it begins to fade. It is the strength of the body, the vitality of the mind, the rhythm of the heart, the treasure we call health. We take it with us everywhere, in every pursuit, in every ambition, in every hour of life. Without it, the greatest opportunities become burdens, and the sweetest joys turn bitter. With it, even the most modest life can feel rich, energetic, and overflowing with possibility. It is a strange truth of human nature that we guard our possessions with ferocity. We lock our doors, insure our homes, and protect our bank accounts with passwords and signatures. Yet we leave unguarded the one thing upon which all these possessions depend. We drive our bodies without rest. We feed them without thought. We neglect them until they begin to falter. And when they do, no amount of money, no depth of regret, no desperate prayer can restore them to their original strength. Health is the servant of every dream. A man may envision a great future. He may set his sights on achievement. But without health he is like a ship with torn sails and a broken mast, adrift, unable to catch the wind. The wealth of nations, the admiration of crowds, the applause of the world, all are meaningless if the body crumbles beneath the weight of neglect. Yet, this truth often remains hidden until sickness reveals it. Only when confined to a bed does a man realize how priceless it was to walk, to breathe deeply, to feel the steady beat of a strong heart. Imagine for a moment being offered the choice between endless riches and the simple guarantee of waking tomorrow with perfect health. How many would trade their treasures in an instant for the chance to move freely, to live without pain, to feel the strength of youth restored? The answer is clear. Yet the lesson is rarely applied until it is too late. We labor endlessly to secure wealth, and then spend that very wealth in desperation to restore what was lost in the pursuit. The body is not merely flesh and bone. It is the vessel of our will, the tool of our mind, the house of our soul. It requires care, respect, and discipline. To eat without thought, to rest without rhythm, to abandon activity, is to sabotage the very foundation of our existence. But to nourish it with wisdom, to exercise it with discipline, to respect its limits while expanding its capacity, this is to preserve the treasure that allows every other treasure to be enjoyed. Health is also more than the absence of sickness. True health is energy in the morning, clarity in the mind, steadiness in the nerves, balance in the emotions. It is the quiet confidence of knowing the body will respond to the demands placed upon it, whether in work, in play, or in the unexpected trials of life. This state is not achieved by chance. It is the result of daily choices, small, often unseen, but cumulative in their effect. Each meal either builds or diminishes, each habit strengthens or weakens, each decision either honors or insults the body that carries us. The wise man understands that his body is an investment. He recognizes that every act of care today prevents a debt of suffering tomorrow. He sees exercise not as a burden, but as a gift, food not as mere pleasure, but as fuel, rest not as idleness, but as repair. In the same way one would not pour poison into a golden cup, he does not pour destructive habits into his body. He knows that the finest ambitions will crumble without the strength to pursue them, and so he guards his health as fiercely as a king guards his throne. There is, too, a connection between the body and the mind that cannot be ignored. A weary body dulls the sharpest intellect, clouds the clearest judgment, and weakens the strongest will. But a body alive with energy sharpens the mind, steadies the emotions, and fuels the spirit with confidence. The greatest achievements of humanity have always come from those who carried not only a strong mind, but also a resilient body. To neglect one is to weaken the other, for they are inseparable partners in the journey of life. And so, the call is simple but profound: do not wait until health is lost to understand its value. Do not trade the treasure of vitality for the fleeting satisfaction of indulgence or the restless pursuit of gain. For when health is gone, the cost of reclaiming even a fraction of it is beyond measure and often impossible. Better to preserve it now, with wisdom and discipline, than to mourn its absence later with regret. Guard your health, then, with the same seriousness with which you guard your future. For in truth, they are one and the same. Every dream, every joy, every achievement depends on it. And though you may possess every comfort and every luxury, without health they will all turn to dust in your hands. There exists a treasure more delicate than time, more fragile than health, and yet more essential than either, if one is to live a truly abundant life. It cannot be measured in coins, nor weighed in gold, nor displayed in jewels. It dwells in the invisible realm of the human spirit. This treasure is peace of mind. It is the quiet assurance that your life is in harmony with your values, that your actions are aligned with truth, that your conscience rests without torment. And though it is invisible, its presence or absence shapes every waking moment, coloring the world either with calm brightness or with restless shadows. Peace of mind cannot be purchased. You may inherit money, but you cannot inherit peace. You may steal wealth, but you cannot steal serenity. You may rent comfort, but you cannot rent inner stillness. It is earned painstakingly through choices made daily. It comes from integrity, from gratitude, from honesty, from living in such a way that your pillow welcomes you at night, without the weight of unspoken guilt or hidden shame pressing upon your chest. Without peace of mind, no success will satisfy, no possession will comfort, no applause will quiet the gnawing unease within. Consider the man who has everything the world admires: wealth, status, influence. Outwardly he glitters with achievement, but inwardly his heart trembles. He fears discovery, for his riches are built on deception. He fears silence, For in the stillness his conscience whispers truths he cannot bear. He fears tomorrow, for tomorrow may reveal what today conceals. Such a man is never free, no matter how vast his estate. His life is a prison built not of walls, but of worry, deceit, and restlessness. Now picture the man of modest means. His home is small, his income unremarkable, his possessions few. And yet he walks through life with light in his eyes and calm in his step. He is at peace because he has nothing to hide. His words are honest, his work sincere, his relationships grounded in trust. He lays his head down each night and sleeps soundly, for his heart is unburdened. Which of these men is truly rich? The world may envy the first, but the soul envies the second. Peace of mind is not simply the absence of trouble. Life will always contain storms. Sickness, loss, uncertainty, disappointment. True peace of mind is the ability to stand in the midst of these storms and remain unshaken, knowing that your foundation is solid. It is not the false calm of ignorance, nor the fragile quiet of avoidance, but the enduring stability that comes from living rightly. It is built when we keep our promises, when we forgive where bitterness could grow, when we choose gratitude instead of resentment, when we align our daily actions with the values we claim to hold. The pursuit of peace of mind requires discipline. It means refusing shortcuts that violate principle, even when they promise quick rewards. It means telling the truth when a lie would be easier. It means treating others with fairness, even when no one is watching. It means refusing to be ruled by envy, greed, or anger, for these emotions are thieves that steal peace from the heart. The road may be harder, but the reward is priceless. A life of quiet dignity, free from the gnawing weight of dishonor. One of the most overlooked keys to peace of mind is gratitude. The restless soul constantly compares itself to others, measuring, competing, grasping. But the grateful soul finds contentment not in abundance, but in appreciation. Gratitude transforms a little into enough and turns ordinary days into blessings. It calms the heart by shifting the focus from what is missing to what has been given. A grateful person may have less than his neighbor in possessions, but he possesses more in joy, for his heart is free from the hunger that robs others of serenity. Forgiveness, too, plays its part. A heart filled with resentment cannot know peace. Anger festers, bitterness corrodes, grudges poison every thought. To forgive is not to excuse, but to release oneself from the chains of hatred. In letting go, the heart breathes again, the mind clears, the spirit rests. Peace of mind is impossible in a life shackled by unforgiveness, for resentment is a burden that grows heavier with every step. And finally, peace of mind comes from self-respect. It is the natural result of living according to the truth you know. When you honor your commitments, when you resist the temptation to compromise your values, when you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you stand tall within yourself. Even if the world misunderstands you, even if you are not applauded, you walk with dignity because you know you have been true. That inner approval is worth more than all the approval of the crowd, for it cannot be taken away. Peace of mind, then, is not a gift delivered by chance, nor a prize awarded to the few. It is available to anyone willing to live with integrity, gratitude, forgiveness, and self-discipline. It is not easy, but it is simple. And once you possess it, you discover it is the most valuable treasure of all. For with it, life, no matter how humble, becomes rich, and without it, life, no matter how extravagant, becomes poor. There comes a sobering moment in life when a person realizes that some losses can never be recovered. We often deceive ourselves into thinking that everything broken can be repaired, that everything wasted can somehow be replaced. But there are losses so permanent that no amount of wealth, influence, or power can undo them. The loss of time, the loss of health, and the loss of peace of mind stand as eternal reminders that carelessness carries a price far greater than most imagine. These are not losses measured in money or possessions, but in the very fabric of existence itself. Think of time first. How often do people speak of making up for wasted years, as if there were a cosmic bank account where lost days could be deposited again? The truth is harsher. Every wasted hour is gone forever, carried off into the past, sealed beyond recall. A man may regret that he did not learn, that he did not act, that he did not dare when the chance was before him, but regret does not resurrect opportunity. The moment was given, and it was thrown away. The clock does not pity. It moves forward, impartial and unrelenting. And so, the careless payment of time leads to the permanent debt of regret, a debt that grows heavier as the years advance. Then consider health. A body abused with neglect or indulgence will one day demand repayment, and the bill it presents is often higher than one can afford. Years of careless living, overeating, idleness, sleeplessness, the indulgence of harmful habits, accumulate silently, and when the reckoning comes, no fortune can purchase back the vigor of youth or the resilience of a body once whole. Hospitals are filled with those who traded health for fleeting pleasures or blind ambition, only to discover too late that the cost of recovery is far greater than the cost of prevention. And worse still, much of what is lost can never be regained. For while medicine may ease pain or prolong life, it cannot restore the strength of a body that has been spent recklessly. Peace of mind, once surrendered, is even harder to reclaim. A man who betrays his integrity for gain may achieve success in the eyes of others, but within himself he is restless, uneasy, pursued by the quiet but relentless voice of his conscience. The loss of peace is subtle. It does not shout, it whispers. It shows itself in sleepless nights, in anxious thoughts, in the uneasy glance over the shoulder, and the more one tries to cover it with distractions, pleasures, or possessions, the louder it grows. For peace of mind, once broken, is not easily repaired. It requires not only acknowledgement of wrongs, but often painful restitution, deep humility, and the rebuilding of trust that may never be fully restored. The price of losing it is far greater than the temporary gain that caused it to be sacrificed. When we put these truths together, a striking picture emerges. The careless treatment of these treasures, time, health, peace of mind, always results in loss that cannot be repaid. Time wasted breeds regret, health neglected breeds suffering, and peace abandoned breeds unrest. And though many try to console themselves with the thought that tomorrow will bring another chance, tomorrow never restores what yesterday has taken. Each day arrives with its own account, its own fresh opportunity, but yesterday's deposit is gone forever. This is why so many, in their later years, speak not of money lost but of time squandered. They recall opportunities ignored, dreams postponed, and relationships neglected. They speak of how much more they would give now to have back the days they once considered ordinary. Yet those days are sealed, unreachable, unchangeable. And as the body weakens, the reality becomes clearer. The treasure they once carried so carelessly was more valuable than all the riches they labored to gain. But let this truth not be a cause for despair. Let it be a call to awaken, to recognize that the losses of yesterday, though irretrievable, make today all the more valuable. The awareness of how easily these treasures slip away should sharpen our vigilance, not dull our spirit. We cannot retrieve what is gone, but we can honor what remains. We can redeem the present moment by living with intention, caring for our health, and cultivating integrity that protects our peace. The tragedy is not in what has been lost, but in failing to recognize the treasure of what is still within our grasp. Each day becomes a test of stewardship. Will we waste the hours, or will we invest them? Will we neglect the body, or will we strengthen it? Will we trade peace for compromise, or will we stand firm in principle? The choice is always before us. And though yesterday's mistakes cannot be undone, today's actions can prevent tomorrow's regret. The reality is simple, but profound: what is lost cannot be bought back. No one can purchase another year once it has passed. No one can buy youth once it has slipped away. No one can acquire serenity once it has been exchanged for dishonor. The only defense against such loss is vigilance, discipline, and wisdom in the choices we make each day. And while many may learn this truth too late, those who learn it in time discover the extraordinary richness of a life lived with care. Every choice we make, no matter how small it seems in the moment, shapes the direction of our lives. Each day is filled with crossroads, decisions about how we will spend our hours, how we will treat our bodies, how we will guard or forfeit our peace of mind. These choices may feel insignificant when taken alone, but together they form the fabric of our destiny. One decision repeated becomes habit, and habit, when multiplied, becomes character. And character is the architect of our future. If we fail to see this truth, we drift, carried along by impulses and distractions, never realizing that we are building a life brick by brick, either strong and enduring or fragile and crumbling. Time demands a decision. It cannot be stored away, it cannot be borrowed from tomorrow. Every morning presents the same question: will I use these hours to build something worthy? Or will I let them slip away in trivial pursuits? There is no neutral ground, for even in idleness time is being spent. A man who values his time directs it toward growth, learning, meaningful work, and relationships that matter. Another, careless of its worth, squanders it on distractions that leave nothing behind but emptiness. And though both men were given the same 24 hours, the outcomes of their lives will be worlds apart. This is not fate, it is choice, repeated daily until the days shape the years and the years shape the man. Health also requires a decision. The body does not remain strong by chance. It thrives when it is nourished, exercised, and cared for with discipline. To neglect it is also a choice, though it is often disguised as convenience or pleasure. The meal consumed without thought, the night sacrificed to indulgence, the resistance to activity, all are decisions, silent but powerful, that accumulate into decline. On the other hand, those who treat their bodies with respect, who give them rest, movement, and nourishment, are making daily investments in vitality that will serve them for decades. The consequences of these choices are not always immediate, but they are inevitable. A body neglected whispers in youth, groans in middle age, and cries out in old age. A body respected grants strength, energy, and endurance that money cannot buy. Peace of mind, too, is forged by choices. No one loses peace in a single moment. It is surrendered bit by bit, compromise by compromise. A small lie told for convenience, a principle bent for gain, a promise broken without care. All may seem minor, but together they erode the foundation of integrity until the structure collapses. Yet the opposite is also true. Every honest word, every promise kept, every act of gratitude or forgiveness lays a stone in the fortress of peace. In the stillness of the night, a man rests easy not because his life is free from problems, but because his conscience is clear, and that clarity is the direct result of the choices he made in the daylight. It is easy to imagine that life's direction is determined by great events, by a single opportunity or crisis, but more often it is determined by the quiet decisions made repeatedly, day after day. Great events are rare, choices are constant. And so it is not the dramatic moments, but the daily ones that shape us. The question is not whether life will demand choices of us. It will, but whether we will make them with intention or let them be made for us by habit, impulse, or neglect. Every person holds within himself both potential and peril. The same hour that can be used for learning can also be wasted in distraction. The same body that can be strengthened can also be weakened. The same mind that can be kept peaceful can also be troubled. The difference lies not in what we are given, but in what we decide to do with it. Life does not wait for perfect circumstances. It presents us with the tools each day, time, health, conscience, and asks, What will you build? The greatest tragedy is not in making mistakes, for mistakes can teach. The tragedy lies in refusing to choose wisely when the opportunity is present. To know what is right and fail to act is to betray yourself, to see the value of time and still waste it, to understand the importance of health and still neglect it, to recognize the beauty of peace and still sacrifice it. These are not accidents, but decisions that lead to regret. And regret is nothing more than the echo of opportunity squandered. The remedy is to awaken to the power of choice before it is too late, to see each hour as a gift to be invested, each meal as a chance to honor the body, each word and action as a reflection of integrity. It is to ask, not once in a lifetime, but every day, will the choices I make today lead me closer to the life I want, or further away? The answer to that question will determine the path of your life more surely than any external event. Each day arrives quietly, as if it were ordinary, yet hidden within it is the power to shape the entire course of a lifetime. Morning greets us with the same gift it has given to kings and paupers, to sages and fools, the gift of a new beginning. In those hours lies the opportunity to rise above past mistakes, to reclaim direction, to reaffirm discipline, and to set into motion choices that determine not only the day, but the years ahead. Yet how often do we fail to see the weight of this daily offering? We treat the sunrise as routine, forgetting that for some it will be their last, and for all of us, each one draws us closer to the limit of our allotted span. The responsibility of today is immense because today is all that ever truly belongs to us. Yesterday has vanished into history, its victories and failures unchangeable. Tomorrow is only a promise, uncertain and fragile, for who can guarantee that it will arrive? The only ground we can stand upon with certainty is the present. And it is here, in this moment, that we decide what will be made of the treasures still in our possession. The hours before us are clay in our hands, soft, pliable, ready to be shaped. By evening, they will be hardened into the permanent form of choices made and actions taken. Whether that form is beautiful or broken depends entirely on how we have spent the day. This truth applies to every treasure. Time, though fleeting, can be turned into something lasting when it is spent with purpose. To devote an hour to learning, to creation, to love, to service. These are investments that echo beyond the passing of the clock. Health, though delicate, can be preserved and strengthened by what we choose to do today. A walk taken, a meal chosen wisely, a night of rest honored instead of stolen. All are small acts, but each builds resilience that allows us to live with vitality tomorrow. And peace of mind, though fragile, is safeguarded through the decisions we make in the present. A word spoken with honesty, a temptation resisted, a debt of gratitude expressed. These quiet acts preserve serenity more effectively than any wealth or possession ever could. But it is not enough to know this truth. It must be lived. Knowledge without action is like a map carried in the pocket of a traveler who never leaves his chair. It shows the way, but it does not bring him to the destination. The difference between those who live fully and those who live with regret is not what they know, but what they practice. Every man knows that time is precious, yet few live as though it were. Every man understands the importance of health, yet many treat their bodies carelessly. Every man longs for peace of mind, yet many exchange it for fleeting pleasure or dishonest gain. The gap between knowing and doing is the very place where destiny is decided. There is power in living deliberately, in refusing to drift. A drifting life is one surrendered to chance, tossed about by the winds of circumstance. But a deliberate life is guided by vision, by values, by awareness of what is truly priceless. To live deliberately is to rise each morning with the conviction that this day will not be wasted, that every action will honor the treasures that cannot be replaced. It is to measure decisions not by convenience, but by consequence, asking always, will this bring me closer to the life I seek, or will it carry me further away? There is also courage required, for the path of carelessness is always easier in the moment. It is easier to postpone, easier to indulge, easier to compromise. But the easy path is deceptive, for it leads only to regret. The harder choice, discipline, honesty, restraint, perseverance, requires effort now but yields reward later. And those rewards are not merely material, they are measured in strength, freedom, and the quiet contentment of a life well lived. The courage to choose rightly, even when it is difficult, is the very foundation of lasting fulfillment. In the stillness of reflection, every person knows what is most valuable. We know that no wealth can purchase a lost year, that no luxury can restore wasted health, that no possession can silence a guilty conscience. The challenge is not in knowing, but in remembering, moment by moment, when distractions and temptations press upon us. To remember is to awaken. To awaken is to act. And to act is to shape a life that will one day stand as proof that the treasures of time, health, and peace were not squandered, but honored. The opportunity of today is therefore immeasurable. It is the chance to spend our hours with purpose, to care for the body entrusted to us, to live in such a way that our minds remain untroubled and free. It is the chance to break away from regret and neglect, to redeem what remains, and to move forward with dignity. For while no man can buy back what has been lost, every man can guard what remains and invest it wisely. The choice is before us now, as it always has been, and the result will echo through every day that follows. When all is said and done, life reduces itself to a few priceless treasures that no one can purchase and no one can return once lost. Time slips away like sand through the fingers, health falters when neglected, and peace of mind vanishes the moment integrity is compromised. These are the true riches of existence, the silent pillars that hold up every dream, every ambition, every joy. To squander them is to squander life itself. The wise man or woman learns to guard them with vigilance. Every day is treated as a sacred trust, every choice measured against the cost it demands. Hours are not wasted but invested. The body is not abused but respected. The conscience is not betrayed but honored. In such a life, fulfillment is not a distant goal, but a daily experience. You and I cannot buy back yesterday. We cannot purchase youth once it is gone, nor can we trade wealth for serenity once it has been lost. But we can stand firmly in today, holding fast to what remains, living in such a way that tomorrow will not accuse us of waste, but reward us with dignity. So let us step forward with courage and awareness, determined to treasure the hours, to protect the body, and to preserve the calm of the soul. For these are the true riches, the possessions that define the quality of our days and the measure of our lives. Guard them well, and you will discover that you already hold more wealth than the world can offer.